mercenaries, really, that's the double M. Born baller, baby boy, I be above the rim.
What's good, family? It's your boy Just Blaze, host of the best NBA pod in the game, Above the Rim. Keep it locked each week and join myself and a special guest as we tackle the latest rumblings in the league. If it's happening in the NBA, you know I got you covered. Make sure you subscribe on all platforms and leave that 5-star review. Let's get it.
And that's the newest Knick, Kemba Walker, staying extra innings. And he's just sitting next to Boogie with the hoodie.
I don't know if it's a wrong decision to pick up Kemba Walker. I think it's a wrong decision if you thought he was going to be used in a different way. The guy's a great offensive player, and you just don't know how to use him. That's really what you're saying. You're not saying that he can't play.
Right.
It's actually a toll against you, saying that you don't understand how to use him.
Wow. So this is more on the coach.
Oh, yeah, it's the coach and the organization just not understanding what value a guy like this, what they pay for.
Wow.
You can have a Ferrari, but you drive it 30 miles an hour.
You throw me, look, I guarantee you've driven these type of cars. You throw me behind the wheel, I'm going to be stalling all day.
Right, there you go.
I got you. Well, look, man, any wisdom for Kemba?
Oh, man, you still a Ferrari. Kemba's a Ferrari. He learns somebody knows how to drive a Ferrari.
Let's not
Talk about it.
You are now tuned in to Above the Rim. Hoops talk for the streets.
Family, what's good? Welcome back to another edition of Above the Rim. Hoops talk for the streets. You already know how we do. Brought to you as always. It's your host, Justin, a.k.a. Just Blaze. Family, you know the drill. To get in contact with me, you can always hit me up and follow me on Twitter at JustBlaze_513. On IG at JustBlaze513. On Facebook, search Above the Rim Podcast. Email the show as well. Above the Rim NBA Podcast at gmail.com. Tap in and leave the family a voicemail. Talk about it. Line is always open. 908-718-1592. Hit me up and let me know what teams, topics you want me to discuss on upcoming shows. Can be any team, any player, any funny shit that's happening, whatever you want to talk about. If you want to talk about the lack of hang time on THT's braids, whatever you want to talk about, so be it. Let me know. Call in the show. Send me an email. Gonna be on the show. All of that merch is always ready to be copped. Make sure you do that. New colors, new flavors. I appreciate the family as always. Joining me this week, familiar voice, so he doesn't need much introduction. The Kevin Costner of the Mellow High. Rich Thread CEO, my brother Remo. What's good, family? How you living?
What's going on, Just? You add a new one today.
Yeah.
Your favorite podcast is favorite podcast.
Oh, talk to me.
What's up? What's up?
Talk about it. I appreciate that. Appreciate you coming through to the pod, my brother, as always. Family, follow Reem at Rich Threads on IG, on Twitter at Let's Talk Hoops TV. Remo's definitely on Twitter talking a lot of mellow shit over there. I see him adding a few goons. I see you. You be having a sword out on Twitter, man.
Listen, man. Shannon, stop playing with me. Retweet me.
I saw that. Reem be having a sword out ready for action. Speaking of action, let's get right into this action, man. Much to discuss as usual. Copping and dropping. You know how we start each and every episode. I throw out a hot take. Remo, if you agree, you copping. If you disagree, you dropping. The topic this episode: Kemba Walker benched. Let's start off talking about these Knicks, man, because they've been pissing me off lately, these Knicks, with their play of late. And something isn't right with this team, man. Struggling to find the magic of last season. Basically a 500 team this year. Top 5 in defense last year, to bottom 20 in defense this year. Most of that has been going towards the direction of my guy, Kemba Walker. So much so that Thibs had the audacity to bench my son. Not only bench him, take him out of the rotation, which to me is a ridiculous thing to do, but we're about to talk about that. And he will not be playing going forward in favor of Alec Burks. Their record since Kemba was benched, 1-3, averaging 11 and 3 assists, 24 minutes this season. So he has been having a down year. From being the marquee summer signee to now collecting checks on the bench for free. My guy, Kemba Walker. Say it ain't so, Remo. Copping or dropping his take, brother. The New York Knicks made the biggest mistake of the season by benching Kemba Walker. Copping or dropping?
I'm dropping that.
Talk to me.
It was the best thing they could have did.
Oh my God. Ready for the disrespect.
Listen,
Tell me what.
We came on this podcast and we told you just, shout out to Damo. We miss you, bro. Got to get you back here soon. But we called it. We said, listen, Kemba ain't it no more. He don't got it, right? And I'm gonna give you an example. We got D Rose. We actually said D Rose was gonna surpass him as the point guard.
Yeah, I asked who was going to be the MVP of the next season. Or I said, was Kemba going to be the MVP of the next season? Copping or dropping. Y'all both dropped it. I only copped it and y'all dropped. So yeah, you're right.
We said that D Rose was actually gonna be the one to take over, which eventually he will be the one because Alec Burks is not a point guard. But if you want to compare D Rose's numbers to Kemba's numbers, D Rose off the bench is averaging 12 to Kemba's 11.
Yes.
Assists, kind of in the same range, 2 to 2.5. D Rose with 4 rebounds, Kemba with 3. And this is off the bench roll. Playing around the same minutes because, I don't think Thibs actually believed in Kemba.
Which is one of the problems right there. But go ahead.
But we called it, and it's showing the fruition.
But wait, what did you call? Call what?
I knew he was going to fall out the rotation. Kemba hasn't been Kemba in a long time.
Stop it. No,
he hasn't been Kemba in a long time, bro.
Last year he averaged, 16 out of 18, I believe.
That's cute.
16 to 18. That's still more than Alec Burks, more than Evan Fournier, more than RJ. If that right there, those numbers would be second on the Knicks right now. If he was getting those same kind of opportunities, touches. And go ahead. Did I cut you off?
Does his knees hold up?
Well, that's one of the issues, but I feel like the Knicks already knew that coming in, that you're going to have to, load management, basically, Kemba Walker throughout the season. The Celtics were doing it. The Hornets were doing it a little bit too, but which was kind of the last all-star year, basically, for Kemba. But I don't like this for 2 reasons, right? You tell me what you think. 2 reasons I don't like this. I don't like this from a chemistry.
Hold on. Yeah. Are you copping or dropping it?
Oh, shit. I'm copping it. That it was a huge, colossal mistake. I think it was the biggest mistake of this season, and I think it's going to have ripple effects going forward, which is why I'm copping this. I think it was a big mistake. So for 2 reasons, like I said, I think from a chemistry standpoint, I hate this move. And I don't like it from a basketball standpoint, this move. From a chemistry standpoint, I see how when you look at Thibs, singling out, you tell me about this, singling out a veteran player, a well-respected player in the league, and not only telling him that, maybe I'm going to reduce your minutes a little bit. Maybe let's switch some things up in the lineup, have some more coverages. I'm going to bring you off the bench, so we can get a different feel of the starting lineup. Maybe we want to go back to a more defensive team, which is what he's trying to do, I guess. But Burks is no stopper. But you could have dialed it back in a way which was incremental. Like take him, reduce his minutes, take him off the bench rather than cold turkey, point blank, you're out of the rotation. Because when they talked to Kemba, he didn't even know it was coming. So it was a shock to him. And I'm sure he was taken aback by damn, hold up. I'm the marquee signee this summer. I didn't sign for a lot of money for you guys. I signed for $8 million. It was a steal for everybody. It was a good deal for everyone. A coming home party. All of this for the Garden supposed to upgrade the offense, and you just take me out the rotation 20 games in?
Yeah, I'm agree with you. It was disrespectful, yes.
That's what I'm saying.
But my thing is, if you have, say, the same veteran, you got accolades and stuff, you do have that in Derrick Rose right next to you.
Yeah, but Derrick Rose already he's taking off the bench, though. I don't think D-Rose has no problem coming off the bench.
Exactly what I'm saying is he's understanding of that already. And when you come in the game, you can get busy. I don't know if Kemba in that mind frame, when you start and you're not getting the productivity that they expected, and we don't know what you are in that role coming off the bench.
But why won't they try it out?
Because now that secondary role you're taking away from D Rose, but you know what he brings.
So then you can start D Rose, because there were a few games that D Rose started in the playoffs because they needed him. Remember, they had Elfrid Payton, and they wanted to murder Elfrid Payton
and Frank
all season.
Nikola Latino
up there. So I feel like putting Derrick Rose maybe as a starting lineup would have been another thing they could do. Even you can still maybe start Alec Burks like you wanted to do, but bring Kemba and D Rose off the bench in another way. Maybe you have 2-guard attacking combo coming off the bench and start something new, maybe.
Because you still got Quickly.
Yeah, somebody has to.
It's a lot. They got a lot of guards in rotation there.
They do, but the problem is none of those guards are elite right now. All of those guards are, rotational pieces and great rotational pieces, but none of them are elite. So I think when you have 4 guards, and then you throw Fournier, he's a guard in there too, just a 2-guard.
Yeah.
RJ Barrett is technically also a 2 guard also. He just plays the 3 now, but he really is a 2 also.
Yeah.
That's what, 5-6 guards right there for those 2 positions. So I agree with that, but to me, that means that they didn't think about this coming in or bringing Kemba in.
It's a good problem to have, though, that you got enough guards where you don't have to play a player that's not producing the way you feel he should be producing. But it's a sad thing because Kemba is from the town.
That's why I think it's a slap in the face. It's
kind of embarrassing.
It's embarrassing. And then remember, other players on the bench, other players on the team are looking around like, damn, if Thibs can't ride with the gang right now, 20 games in, you can't even rock with Kemba Walker, who is an established vet. I believe he won the Sportsmanship Award 2 years in a row. So he's a well-respected dude in the league, respected in like NBA communities and giving back and all that stuff. So that I say that to say this, that there comes a human aspect of benching a guy. And not only benching the guy, taking him out the rotation. If he was a star on somebody else's team, you were a max contract player. You're not anymore, yes, clearly. But you have no problems coming with a reduced role. He had no problems saying, I'm going to take less shots. He's playing 24 minutes, son. 24 minutes is not a lot for you to make like the biggest, like your usual impact when you're used to playing 30 minutes, 35 minutes a night or whatever. And I'm surprised that you saying this because you're a Melo guy. And you see how the Rockets treated Melo 10 games in. Was that enough to evaluate what Melo was doing? If he was that effective to shut him down? That wasn't enough games. So how is 18, 20 games enough to say that Kemba wasn't good enough?
No, but they sent Melo home. They didn't shut him down. They sent him home. It was a little different.
It was another level of disrespect.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
But I feel like it's in the same category of disrespect to me, I think.
I get it. I can respect it as well.
When you sign me, remember they signed Melo to come there and say, yo, I need you to help out with the squad. Players lobbied for him. Kemba Walker, the other players lobbied for him to come to like, yo, we could use a guy like that. We needed an upgrade from Elfrid Payton. So what?
You think they did that more of a PR move or an actual basketball move?
I think both. I think they saw that it can benefit both because it was a good PR move. It was great to have a hometown kid come in. Everyone from New York loves New York point guards.
And that's because it didn't land the big fish. That was an attraction. So Kemba being from New York, it was a cute story.
It was. And so I think, to me, the issue that I have with it is taking him out of the rotation, number one. And to me, taking him out of the rotation is like an insult. And it's an insult because it looks like you're blaming all of the Knicks' problems right now on one guy when he's not the only issue. Like Kenny Smith said it in the intro, you can't have a Ferrari and drive that shit 30 miles per hour. There's no point of that. So if you know you got Kemba Walker here knowing that he's not a defensive stopper. He's not a defensive player. I don't think anyone would think that or anyone thought that prior to him coming here. So you brought him in here for offense. You brought him in here to get buckets. Put him in situations where you can unleash his bucket getting.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Kenny Smith, his quote, how much miles an hour do you think Kemba can really run right now? I'm just saying.
More than 30.
I'm just saying.
More than 30, though.
That's like 160 on the dash. What you think he can give you right now?
I think Kemba can give you 18 still.
Think so?
Yeah, I think he can give you 15 to 18. He's playing 24 minutes and shooting 11 shots, 11 to 12 shots. That's not really a lot. And Kemba's not a chuck like that. So it's not like he's not Russ. So he's not going to be shooting every single time he gets the ball or something like that. So to me, benching him just looks like they're pinning. He just looks like the scapegoat for how the Knicks have been playing, and I don't like that. And
the digression.
Yeah, and I think this looks really bad on Thibs actually, because I think Thibs is playing his hand a little bit too much now. Instead of trying to ride it out with your guys, I think this is too much of a drastic move, and this move is like a will it work or will it won't work? Because if it works, he may look good, but if it doesn't work, to me, this is a fireable offense. Fireable offense if this doesn't work. Because right now the Knicks are out of the playoff picture, and if they stay that way or in the playoff,
yeah, because they should be building on what was last year.
Exactly,
I get it.
So to me, messing up the chemistry like that, because all the players are looking like, damn, if I don't play good, I might be out the rotation right now.
They had a good starting week.
They did, and Knick fans may be able to blame for this shit
New York
too.
was going crazy.
Yo,
y'all gotta relax.
Knick fans, they gotta relax. Listen, New York City, man. I know y'all love y'all Knicks.
Gotta relax.
Gotta relax a little bit. And you know what's crazy? They haven't relaxed because the Knicks have lost 7 of 12 in the Garden. Under 500 record in the Garden right now. For all that hooting and hollering, giving Fournier $74 million. What about that? Was that a great signing? I mean, he's solid, but $74 million?
Shout out to the Olympics.
Come on, man. Got that boy paid. And they want to blame Kemba Walker so much. We got to look at Julius Randle also. Julius Randle has not been the same this season. I talked about it last episode. His body language has been poor all season. He's bitching to the refs all game, complaining about calls. He said they told him he's not getting called because he's too strong. So he's not getting no NBA calls. And I think he needs to be accountable also because they're talking about the lack of defense with the Knicks. You got to look at him. I mean, he's at the point of attack, that power forward center position. They should be your two anchors of the defense, as well as the point guard. So would you say Julius Randle has been the same this season as he was last year?
He been the same for the last 3-4 seasons to me. Julius Randle is who Julius Randle is.
Is he a number one option?
It's not on a real team, no. On the Knicks, of course. But like, Julius is Julius. Like, he's extra strong. He got a broken right hand. He complains a lot and he makes very poor decisions down the stretch. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's either he's hot or he's just not. And they live and die with him. And
I haven't seen any improvement from his dinner being eaten by John Collins last year in the postseason. John Collins ate his dinner and his brunch in the playoffs. And do I see Randle going to his right a little bit more? No. Do I see any more moves? Like, do you see new moves from Randle this year?
No, it's power-ups, it's spins, it's turning into double teams, it's overshooting.
Over-dribbling.
Oh, I've been said it on this same podcast. He's no good more than 4 dribbles.
He dribbles a lot more than that.
and his favorite move to get away is a hard spin move into a double.
It's a hard spin too. It's a strong spin. He's talking about strong.
Turnover.
And a turnover. So, like I said, man, the Knicks need to do better. I think it's a fireable offense by Tom Thibodeau if it doesn't work out the way that he thinks it would. And I think he needs to sit Kemba Walker down and say, yo, come back into the rotation, but maybe less minutes, or come off the bench, or we'll utilize you a little bit different.
Before we move on for that, I think coaches should go to players and tell them what could be more productive in the timing that you are playing versus I'm going to bench you because you're not giving me what I need. But what I'm giving you is what I can do in your system. Let's have a conversation and maybe we can meet in the middle. And if I don't do what you need in that, all right, I'm just not part of what you need.
I agree. That's communication too. Yeah. That's communication.
Being transparent.
Yeah, so I don't like that. And I'm actually surprised by Thibs because I thought he was a straight shooter and just letting people know, listen, man, this is what I need from you. You're not giving me this. Let me sit you down. But out the rotation is a little crazy to me. Let's move on. Let's talk about the Los Angeles Lakers, man. Man, what else can we say about these fellas? Struggling still. I don't know where to start with these Lakers. Problems upon problems. Basically a 500 team right now with all this super team talent that's going on with the Los Angeles Lakers. 23rd in offense, 16th in defense, 12-12 record. Second to the last in the NBA in points allowed per game. According to NBA.com, they have the easiest schedule thus far in the NBA they have had, which is ridiculous that this is their record, having one of the easiest schedules a quarter of the way into the season. And the word I would use to describe the Lakers is delusional. I'm going to say delusional because I think these guys are a little bit delusional that they think they can walk on the floor and just win a game just being who they are. To me, they're not putting in maximum effort on both ends of the floor and maximum cerebral effort as into making themselves better and making everyone else better around them. So to me, they're still trying to play their normal individual game on the team together. And it's actually ridiculous to watch. Like, I'm not even a Laker fan, and I really get annoyed watching them play. I'm sitting here like, damn, the lack of competency in some of the plays I've seen have been ridiculous. And there's a lot that's going on right there. But Remo, so talk to me about what's going on with the Lakers. Is it the same old problem or a new problem, or what's going on, brother? They are aside.
For the fact that they come on so late at night and I lose so much wasted sleep over this team.
Them games are late, man. On the East Coast? Woo.
It's just ridiculous. All right. The Lakers are delusional. Yes. I've noticed it since the preseason.
Yes.
That these kids refuse to actually play because of what they were too big for the moment. Because they weren't hurt. Oh, I'm going to play one star and I'm going to play another star. Come on. Cut it out.
You mean in the preseason games, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because they didn't have the whole team.
They didn't have everybody to the last one, and they didn't win a preseason game. Llisten, Hollywood
Thank you for bringing that up.
Hollywood ends on the films.
Yeah.
That's it. You have to put in the grind. You have to put in the time. And the way to correct this ship, you got to cut the head off the snake. Frank Vogel, you have to go.
Already?
You have to go. From what I see, you don't know your own team. You don't know your rotations. And you are trying to run a defensive team with defensive players. Defenseless players. You're running DeAndre Jordan like he's a Ferrari.
Well, I don't know what he has done to get minutes.
He's a Ford Explorer with 100,000 miles on it.
Is he even a Ford Explorer right now?
He's a Bronco. I'm just saying. Poor rotations from Frank.
Yeah.
You like he has like this, I don't know, this inapt state, like he loves these older guys where you feel as though these guys have to get minutes.
Maybe he shook.
He knows he's gone. He should be gone. Right? We got a lot of different things. You let Caruso go.
Oh, that was the Lakers' number one mistake this summer.
They let Caruso go. It's hard to get a man on a team that understands his role.
Yes. I always say, knowing your role, star amongst...
Be a star in your position, a star in your role, you'll have perfect results. So they lost Alex Caruso and they believed in a THT. They paid THT $30 million to keep him. Right now, he's averaging 10 points for $30 million.
What did you expect from THT? Did you expect more?
I never liked him. He's not a defensive guy.
No.
He's not really of a dribbler. He can't shoot. And he can finish at the rim.
He can finish at the rim, though. He can drive really well sometimes.
He averages 10 points, just.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly didn't expect him to do more, to be honest. Me personally.
But you paid him $30 million. You have to pay what you have to play what you paid.
Maybe they're paying for potential. He's like
he ain't there. And if they did that, we could go to the next one. And AD. They pay AD. AD talking about he the voice of the team and all this. He got 45 nuggets on his head from Giannis.
Giannis went on his head top that game.
We didn't name him, but the NBA named him a top 75 player. He's not even playing top 10 in the NBA this year.
No, he's not top 10 to me.
He's playing musty. He looks soft. He came out and said, I'm going to be the 5 and play majority of my minutes at the 5. And who they call upon to save him? Dwight Howard. Out of all people.
Dwight is starting now. So let's talk about AD. Is he... Because coming into the season, what was supposed to be the thing is that AD is now supposed to be the number one option. The undisputed, definitive number one option. Has he been that thus far this season?
No. AD's never been that guy to me. I don't know why these people got these false hopes about AD.
Well, it's because he's playing next to LeBron. You know what it is.
He played next to
inflating him a little bit.
He looks poop. He looks soft. And he doesn't take over the game at any moment. And he's the only one actively in their prime. Yes.
Out of all of those guys, yes, 100%. And see, they went into the season, right? Lakers fans, media, whatever, wanted AD to be the number one option. And I think it was the right decision to tell him, yo, you're going to be the number one option. You need to be the number one option. But I think he's still not ready to be the number one option, but not that he's not ready normally. I think on this team, he's not ready. And because on this team, he's not alpha enough on this team in particular. And because this team in particular has one of the team with the most alphas I've ever seen on one particular team. Russ, Melo, LeBron, Rondo even. There's a couple of guys on there who have been the guy on their team or top 2 on their team before. So, like you said, AD is the youngest guy on this team, the only one still in their prime. So to them, they looking at him, he's still little bro to these guys. So when you look at AD's mild-mannered personality, is he gangster enough to be like, yo, give me the rock at all times, give me the ball, start to play off at me? Is he gangster? Is he loud enough to do that to these fellas?
I don't think it's a matter of gangster or not. Because Middleton doesn't have to be gangster. But he knows...
But Giannis defers.
Giannis is the gangster, and Middleton is gangster enough to take the big shots.
Yes.
What AD doesn't do, me watching these late-ass games in the middle of the night, is AD settling for mid-range jump shots. AD missing free throws. AD taking three-pointers. At one point in time this season, he's shooting 17%. The worst in the league.
Yeah, they had the worst in NBA history. They had, I think, from mid-range or three-point percentage I forgot which one it was, for someone who shot a certain amount of attempts. He was like bottom 3 in NBA history, which is crazy.
But he's never been that. And then he bulked up. So all of the elusive dribbling and all of that, we said in this podcast alone, because we say a lot of stuff and terrestrial TV steals it.
All the time. Talk about it.
He's always looked out of sync and out of shape to me this season. I think
the last 2 years he looked out of shape. Wait, Bubba was last year? Bubba's not last year.
No.
Bubba's the year before. Yeah, so the past 2 years he's been looking out of shape to me.
He got too big and too bulky, and he just doesn't. He looks out of sort, and he doesn't give me that feeling of confidence, that vote of confidence, where I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna give it to AD. He's gonna get me a bucket. I give it to AD. He might do something with it, and that's not what the Lakers need right now.
And I agree with you. And on this particular team, he needs to actually step up more than he's ever had to before in order to take the reins from these guys, like I said before. So he's got to be extra hungry, like double hungry, triple hungry, next to a guy like LeBron, because you got to take the ball out of his hands. You know, when Melo touches the rock, he's shooting it. You have to make him think twice about that. You have to tell Russ, listen, when you bring it up the floor, give it to me first every single time, and then let's do something else. You need to tell both of them that.
But the thing, what I noticed for AD is terrible at handling double teams. It's a turnover or a jump or a poor off-balance jump shot every time. So he needs to work on that, or he needs to decide to pass the ball faster than he is, because he's holding the ball. The shot clock he's fighting against the shot clock and the double team, which equals a poor shot, or they put him on the line and he's missing. I don't know what his problem is. He need to go see a psychologist or pass the ball. One or the other.
The shooting this season has been poor. But I do want to give him a little bit of credit, because he is leading the league right now in points per game in the paint. Points in the paint on points per game in the paint. He's leading the league.
But if you watch that, because I'll be watching this late at night, a majority of those come out in the first quarter.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Phenomenal point. Literally, I don't know the percentage, but it probably is like 75, 85% of his points come in the first quarter. Because I see that the game plan when they come out is like, yo, let's get AD going early. Let's get him these touches early. Let's get him to rock early, because we need him at the end. But then he starts off great, and then little by little, he starts to dwindle a little bit more. And it's crazy is it doesn't even matter who's playing, because he does it when it's just him and Russ. He does it when it's just LeBron there.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who's there. He still does it regardless. So to me, I feel like that's hunger.
It's heart. He ain't got it, man. I'm telling you. He need to eat something. Eat some Wheaties. But it's more problems with these Lakers, though.
Yeah, it's more problems. Let's talk about it. Go ahead.
LeBron.
Yes, I was getting... Wait, before we get into LeBron, I got to talk about... Hold on. I don't know how the hell LeBron beating COVID in 2 days. He was in health and safety protocols. I've never seen someone get out of there so damn quick. He must have put that call in. Must have put that bird out to get him out of there. Only played in 11 games this season. To me, I said last episode he was turned into a jump shooter this season. But talk to me what you've been feeling about LeBron this year. We
have seen LeBron right before our eyes turn into a human.
More to LeBron?
Yeah. What I noticed...
LaMortal.
Aside from him missing the game, because he only played, half the game so far?
Yeah, 11 out of 23.
Between getting suspended and abdominal, even with how he looks, he's settling for not a lot. And his ability to take somebody off the dribble and finish is kind of gone. And these young kids don't fear him no more. Because once upon a time, when LeBron took off the 1-2 and got in the air, it used to be like the part in the Red Seas. But these young kids are jumping. They're trying to put him on his backside. They're trying to put the ball on the board.
Going up his neck.
They're no longer scared of LeBron James. And guess what? You get to the free throw line, take my bet. You might shoot 50. You might make both.
Take your bet, especially at the end of the games now. Don't talk about LeBron.
To the point where I see them settling a lot at the end of the game with bad decision, bad coaching. You got AD, Russ, and LeBron settling for three-pointers when you have Wayne Ellington, Melo, and Monk on that team who can shoot three-pointers, who get no last-second shots.
I agree.
It's a big problem going on over there.
It is a problem. And what I'm seeing when I look at the team, I see a lack of trust when I'm looking at it. A lack of trust on offense and on defense, I see. Like the end of the games, like I had a video I put out on Twitter about Russell Westbrook. I sent it to you fellas in the chat. What he did at the end of that game against the Clippers the other night. Under 2 minutes left. AD got the rebound, passed it over to Russ. Under 2 minutes. They had the whole shot clock to go. They were down 1. He decided to take the ball up the floor, post up, who was it? Reggie Jackson. And then he hooked him in the back of his neck and got an offensive foul when he had Malik Monk calling for the ball wide open in the corner and LeBron wide open in the other corner calling for the ball. Melo, he probably didn't even run down because he's like, shit, I'm not even gonna get it anyway.
Yeah. Oh God. This was like at 12:15 a.m.
Ridiculous.
Eastern Standard Time that I'm watching this nonsense.
It's frustrating.
Now that you said Melo, right? And everybody should know Melo's my guy. But they have no plan for him.
Zero.
Melo's averaging 14-4, shooting 42% from the three-point line. And believe it or not, his plus average is plus 18 this year.
Solid numbers.
And I think his defensive rating is like 110 or something like that, which is league average.
That's what they try to say he was going to be a liability.
Yeah.
He's not that.
I just seen Hartenstein bust LeBron ass. Crazy. But that's a whole nother subject. Like, if you have Melo, you have Monk, you have Ellington, these teams that they're playing against that have hot six men, they find moments for them where they exploit what they're shooting, how they're shooting. They run certain plays for them to see if they could keep the consistent hot hand. What I noticed with this team between Russ, AD, and LeBron is my turn, your turn, my turn.
Yes.
And if we're double or we have to pass out, there's people to pass to. But we're not looking to pass.
Yes. The game plan is not to pass to them.
Yeah, we'll get it done as a collective because we're the three entities and everybody else will fall into where they suit. But a lot of the threes are coming from non-3-point shooters.
Yes.
So that's why I say the top of the heap is where Vogel is supposed to be the voice of reason to be like, listen, you guys are not shooters. Find the shooters. Anything in between are all yours except those.
Yep. And I'm glad you brought that up because the rotations for Vogel have been poor because a lot of lineups I've seen sometimes have LeBron James as really the only shooter on the floor. And I'm sitting here like, why is he the best shooter on the floor for the Lakers? There should never be a lineup where LeBron is the best shooter.
No, the question is, when did he become such a...
When? Because he has Rondo, Russ, LeBron, and then it was just some Dwight minutes. And I'm like, the rotations are just... They just honestly make no sense to me. When he puts Melo in the game, I feel like he puts Melo in too late. He might need to put Melo in a little bit earlier, I think, to really stagger out that bench, stagger out that lineup.
Before we get off the Lakers, we right there at the finish line. But Melo, it's crazy because Melo at one point in time was deemed as the potential sixth man of the year by his shooting.
That lost some steam.
And if you look at the games, he's no longer the sixth man to come off the bench.
Yeah.
He's probably the eighth guy.
I see
Hillbilly Kobe comes off. And then you have Monk. And then Melo. If Wayne Ellington doesn't come on before Melo.
Yeah, and sometimes I see Melo coming at the 3-minute mark of the first quarter. And I'm like, hold on. If he's supposed to be in there at the 6-minute mark, actually. And then you stagger, you put AD at the 5, Melo at the 4, Braun at the 3. You take out Russ at that point, and then you put in the 2 shooters, Monk or THT, Wayne Ellington.
No. THT, they need to reel him in. I don't like him. He's not that good.
He has decent plays at times, but I just chalk it up to him being young, to be honest. I don't really expect much from THT.
I say move him.
Move him? Well, they acting like he's their only, hot commodity asset. Like they're holding on to THT. But it's like they're holding on to him to not get better. Like teams are asking for THT and they're like, nah, you can't have THT. That's my ace in the hole. That's my corner pocket 8-ball.
I'm sending THT and Jordan on the next thing with an engine. They only got to be a boat, plane, nothing.
Yeah. It's crazy there. So yeah. So like I said, with the Lakers, just feel like a lack of awareness as a whole, especially Russ, not knowing where his guys are supposed to be. And you know what's crazy? The numbers for all of the Lakers, they all look good. The problem with them is I said it in one of the other episodes. Stats can't matter for this Los Angeles Lakers team, and for some reason these guys, not saying that they're playing for their numbers, but they make sure they get their numbers by the end of the game. LeBron's still averaging 25, 5 and 6, but to me he hasn't been Typical LeBron. He's been a lot more of a jump shooter LeBron this season. Russ averaging 28 and 8, damn near a triple-double. But to me, his play hasn't been great as a whole this season. A couple of games here and there. Yeah.
This is the sum of the Lakers. That last loss that we last seen them was against the Clippers, right? Listen to the plus minus of the starting unit. AD -9. LeBron -5. Howard -11. Westbrook -6. THT, the savior, -7. Your bench unit. This is your bench unit. Melo +8 in 6 shots.
6 shots?
6 shots in 25 minutes. You got Ellington +15. Monk scratched it even 0. And you got Austin Reeves, Hillbilly Kobe, -5. I've never seen that. And it's all too often with this team where the bench is kind of like bringing them back and the coach doesn't stick with them. So you're taking them out the game and then the starting unit is relinquishing that gain that they did do.
Yeah. And you know what? A lot of that is due to poor transition defense. A lot of times I'm seeing other teams are scoring off a transition. The Lakers are looking around at each other when they miss assignment when somebody scores.
They're too old for that.
They're too old to be looking at you. See them looking at each other, right?
Everybody got to get back. Everybody got to get back.
But you know what's crazy? It's because they got too many stars on the court at one time. None of those dudes are used to doing the dirty work. Making sure they get on an assignment. There's no Mikal Bridges on this team. There's no Jay Crowder on this team to do those little things that you need them to do. And you know what? To keep it a stack also, Reem. You tell me if I'm crazy here, but I can count on my fingers of my hands how many plays I've seen the Lakers run this season. These boys don't run any real plays, like pin downs, down screens. I don't see these guys running I see them run a pick and roll.
No, they do run plays when one man comes in the game.
Who, Mel?
Rondo.
Oh, yes.
Rondo changes the tempo every time he gets
Rondo runs the play.
Every time he gets onto the floor, but it's far in between when he does get run.
And he's not playing every game.
Exactly.
He's not playing every game. So which means that they don't run plays every game.
But if you look at the games where he does play, Melo has his best games.
Yes. Because what? He's a guard looking for his shooters. Looking for my scorers, looking for my shooters. And I see way too many times I see Melo gets up the floor clapping for it and just doesn't get it. He claps for it and then leaves his hand there.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
Catches mitt.
Damn. Like, damn. There's nothing but air. You didn't give me nothing, Russ. Yeah. So it's too much of that going on right now. And I don't know. Vogel, is he going by January or what?
January? He should be going by Christmas. Because remember the Christmas game.
You never know.
If they fall out with duds in between now and that Nets game on Christmas, he's gone. Gotta start the new year fresh.
They do gotta start it off fresh. I'm not gonna lie, they got plenty of suitors that will be their coach. So we'll see, man. The Lakers, they gotta get it together. We'll come up on an update in the next couple of weeks, see how they rocking. On some good news though.
Talk to me.
My boys, I asked y'all fellas at the beginning of the season, are the Suns the #1 team in the West? And you brothers said no. Well, damn it, y'all are wrong. Because win streak right now just ended at 18. I was tight about that, but it was the NBA. They did us dirty. Look at her. They did the Suns dirty, giving them a schedule loss, playing the Warriors on a back-to-back against the Pistons. So that was a tough loss to win the streak. But still, nonetheless, it was an incredible 18-game win streak, best win streak in franchise history. The Suns have been rolling this season. They've been disrespected constantly by the media. JJ Redick even went over there and said he was at ESPN for 15 hours in one day during their win streak. Not one topic, not one segment about the Phoenix Suns at all. It was all LeBron. It was all Warriors. It was a little bit of Nets. Nothing else in the NBA. So that to me shows a lot of things. A lot of with the lack of basketball coverage going on and the lack of respect for the Suns as a legitimate contender in the league right now. I feel like a lot of people still think it was a fluke run last year with injuries with the teams that they had to play with, forgetting that the Suns had their own injuries to deal with throughout that whole playoff run. CP was hurt. Book broke his damn nose in the playoffs. Saric was out. They had injuries themselves. So franchise winning 18-game winning streak. Book is out right now with a hammy tear. Hopefully he gets back soon. He tore his hand. Well, they said it's more maintenance, more management for the hammy. So he should be out a couple of games, maybe a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, hopefully. Mikal Bridges has stepped up this season, played excellent again, getting a lot of praise. He needs to be on that all defensive team. Really has upped his game this season. Ayton has been playing well, averaging 16 and 11, upped his game to a double-double this season. And they still got the best point guard in the league on their team. So they always are in the game. CP still leading the league in assists in year 17. And I saw a crazy stat here. Chris Paul, 93% of his 2-point shots are unassisted this year. So that means he's scoring on his own. 93% of his shots. So talk to me what you've seen with the Suns this season, my boy Reem. What you think about the fellas?
I'm gonna reach across the board and give you a dab, bro.
Show me something, love. I appreciate that, bro.
Listen, he called it though. I ain't gonna lie. Like, we kind of felt as though like some injuries might have played part in where they had got last year. With the Lakers falling short, and you know what I mean. But they're moving like a well-oiled machine. Ooh. And when you watch them, it's like they let me not say each player. CP3 knows everybody's movement before he even moves. Mm-hmm. And he knows where to get the best things. And I think the JaVale McGee, I think it was a big signing because
it was big.
He brings that athletic and like that how can I say it? That the ego. Egotistical.
Knowing his role.
Yeah, he knows he's gonna get his role. He know he might get big minutes. He know he might not. He's gonna bring all the energy that he could bring within those minutes.
Maximum energy in those minutes.
And I love it. I love it because he did the same thing for the Lakers. So he just bringing that energy. And he's a champion. Mm-hmm. So bringing that champion mindset to that team is perfect because Ayton, he's still young.
Yes.
So even when he goes through his dry spells, you do have a form of champion that you could plug in and give you great energy. And they're just confident right now. I like everything they're seeing. Everything I'm seeing from them, I'm loving it.
I agree with you. I agree with you on all those points. And I'm glad you brought up the JaVale McGee signing because it was a low-key, underrated signing that has paid big dividends for the Phoenix Suns. And he's exactly what they needed. Last year, they had nobody when Ayton was going to the bench. They only had Sarge. And Giannis, that's dinner for Giannis.
And I got rid of Alex Len, right?
Oh, no, not Alex Len.
No, I'm saying you had got rid of him before.
But he wasn't there last year. Yeah. So we have Kaminsky also was the other backup. Kaminsky.
He's soft.
Exactly. So there was no big man last year aside from Ayton.
That's really good.
And that was their Achilles heel. So I'm glad that they picked up JaVale McGee. And he's been excellent. Like, I know his per 36 numbers were like really crazy in saying that he produces so much in a little bit of time that he has. And he knows his role, like you said, he's a great
athletic, protector, block.
All of that. He's been excellent. And the head of the snake, CP, he knows everybody's role and lets everyone know where they should be or where they need to be on every single play, every single possession. So there's no slippage, there's no losing your assignment or mental breakdowns because he's gonna tell you.
And low key, JaVale does great on switches against smaller guards.
Yes.
Because he uses his length, he has good foot speed, and he challenges up top without fouling or making a lot of mental errors that he used to make at his younger state.
Yes. They used to get on him a lot for his mental errors.
A lot of Shaq in the fool moments, but I think he's past that.
Yeah, he's been.
Where he's blossomed into having a great career.
He's been
3-time champion.
Listen, is JaVale McGee the key to a title?
Yeah.
Think about it. Warriors, Lakers. Is he the key?
Yeah.
You might be. You might be the key. And I'll take it. Because that means the Suns are in some good position. Also, give CP a shout out also as well for being the only player in NBA history to lead 3 different franchises to 17-plus game win streaks. So that is a phenomenal feat. And obviously, he's the only player in NBA history to do that. And that shows the longevity of CP. And any team that he goes on, he wins, no matter what. They may not always win the championship, but they're definitely going to be in championship contention, no matter who's on that roster.
Every stop.
So you got to give my boys some credit for that. And
look at OKC now.
Come on, man. They just lost about, how much was it? 70?
73.
My goodness. 70. Free Dort. Free my man Lou Dort. Free my man SGA from OKC. Free my Suns,
They
man.
got so much picks over there, though.
Yeah, I know. They got a lot, man. So the Suns are still trucking. Like I said, that's my finals pick. Everybody knows I got them to win the title. We'll see how that rocks. And they hungry, man, so we'll see. Warriors, Suns, would you say that they are the 2 best teams in the league, or is there someone else in your opinion?
Nah, that's a 2 de
Clear
facto.
cut?
Yeah, as of right now, yeah. Well, the Nets are not as sexy as they should be.
You think they're on?
They're on par. They're on par there.
Okay.
Because I think people have been anticipating what they could have been with Kyrie, and they got to let that ship sail. But if you look at the numbers, they're still top of the East.
Yeah. But they did just lose to the Bulls.
The Bulls not playing with nobody. So I think those are top 4 for me.
Okay, Bulls in top 4?
I think so.
Okay, all right. I don't know, but that's crazy to say. Remember, I'm going to bring that clip back up. But remember I said a cop and the dropping was the Bulls going to be a top 4 seed in the East. Everybody said no. I think you were the only one who said yes.
I like them.
Yeah, and boy, they've been...
Because hold up. I did say on here, DeRozan was supposed to be a hot pickup for anybody. Everyone's like,
yes.
DeRozan.
You wanted him on Portland. Me too. I was all on board with DeRozan being on Portland. I hate how those Twitter nerds, those analytic nerds
mid-range ain't this, that, the fourth. Come on now.
Look at the players that are thriving right now. Mid-range guys. KD, CP3, DeRozan, Melo. And Melo even stretched himself to now he's a damn 3-point shooter now. Yeah. He's just a stretch
42 from the 3.
Come on, man. Mid-range has never been dead. And to me, I think it's the most important shot.
Yeah, because when you got to get going sometimes, a mid-range is, that's the recipe right there.
The recipe. And it's something that you can't stop. Yeah. You could game plan all you want, but it's either a make or miss, either one with that mid-range. So shout out to those brothers. John Wall, let's talk about him really quick, man. He wants to play right now, but doesn't want to come off the bench. He's starting to annoy the hell out of me right now, John Wall, because John Wall was one of my guys. I've been wanting him to play the season. I don't know what's going on over there. It looks like a damn mess. He's starting to annoy me a little bit because I don't know why he's crying about playing time right now. Playing time should not be the thing that you're crying about if I'm looking at John Wall. You're getting paid $40 million this year to sit down, to chill, to go to practice, do whatever. Just come off the bench and show you that you still have that value so that they can trade you a little bit later because that's what you want to do. And the situation is just a mess. And I'm a little disappointed at John Wall that's the holdup now for him playing is I don't want to come off the bench behind these young guys. I don't want to play these certain amount of minutes. Like, to me, that sounds ridiculous. And to me, that's telling me a lot about John Wall's mentality right now. That means he's not humble enough. Just come off the bench for just a couple of games, show them you're better than them, and then get traded. How you feel about the situation, Reem?
John Wall, you crybaby.
Oh.
The reason I'm upset with John Wall making this decision, because you could decide not to play and get paid. Mm-hmm. But when you take the money, it's kind of like, it's like false reality. Because if the franchise moves in a different direction, that money equates to you sitting.
Yeah.
And he should know this because he's been through it. Believe it or not, one of my favorite players was Gilbert Arenas. When John Wall came around, they said they was going to put the ball in his hands, and Arenas was going to take the step back.
And he got phased out.
The gun charges, and then they eventually traded him to Orlando, I think. Mm-hmm. And that was just the move that had to be made because
John Wall coming was the new era.
John Wall was the new franchise player. Mm-hmm. And then you came along with Bill, and that was where they want to move forward with. It's just like Jalen Green and Michael Porter Jr. Mm-hmm. This is the new thing. They're not winning. Give these guys their reps and let them get NBA time in. It's either you're gonna be the big vet that's getting the money, but showing these guys the ropes.
And what's wrong with that?
Or you're gonna go home and say, when you figure it out, you let me know, but you're still getting paid.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm glad that you said that. And see, this is the difference between guys like John Wall, not to bring him up again, but difference between guys like John Wall and Chris Paul, CP3. You see when Chris Paul went to Oklahoma City, still getting his money and say, you know what? I know we not in finals contention. This is we're going to be a down year for me. But you know what? I'm going to make these young guys better. And by making them better, it shows how good I am.
Yeah.
Because
on a lower tier, you can kind of say like Kevin Love. He got stuck out of all of those.
He was crying a little bit.
But he knew he was getting. It was either you're gonna take the buyout and lose money, or you're gonna shut up.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to take the money. He doesn't want to take the buyout either. He's not
worth anything on that. John Wall, one ACL tear, one Achilles tear, knee, meniscus, all types of stuff. So it's either shut up and take the money, or just be the vet.
Yeah, I'm disappointed in how John Wall is handling this situation. To me, it's very unprofessional how he's handling it. And if Jalen Green is your young boy, because Jalen Green said that he hangs out at John Wall's house every week that he chills over there at John Wall's house, which I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I don't know what he got him.
Teach me how to Dougie.
I don't know what he got Jalen Green getting involved with, but if that's your young guy, go on the floor with him and be that guy on the court with him also as well. Be that
CP3 him.
Exactly. Just show him that home road, like how CP3 did to SGA or somebody like it. Just make him into that young killer that you know he could be, and maybe you might end up liking it in Houston. You never know. And
or somebody might see that you're effective on these young players and bring you in a winning circumstance where you can still keep your money.
And you're going to keep your money regardless. Be a pro.
But be happy.
Be happy. Be a pro, man. That's all. I'm a little disappointed in Ja Wall.
And we don't know what he got left.
Yeah, seriously. I need to see that. Another guy who was disappointing me this season, we got to talk about James Harden a little bit real quick. I want to talk about him. So the Nets are top 2 in the East, like you brought up before. They just lost to the Bulls last night, but still playing well. Primarily off the back of KD, I will say this season. The Nets are at the top of the East. His partner in crime, Harden, he hasn't been holding his end of the bargain this season, if you ask me. A quote from Harden recently, a couple of weeks ago, he said, "I'm still trying to figure out when to score, when to be a playmaker, when to run an offense, when to do a little bit of everything." That was ridiculous to me that he doesn't know his role in this offense when the ball is in his hands at all times to me, but that may be because his Lord and Savior D'Antoni is not on that bench anymore. We'll see. But his numbers are down across the board, averaging 27 and 9, only 40% from the field. He's failed to reach 20 points in 12 games thus far. When have you seen James Harden fail to reach 20 points? This is James Harden that we're talking about, who averaged 30 in the season multiple times. Turnover rate, career high. He's just not that aggressive to me this season. And I'm looking at it, it's clear to me he's not that aggressive. And I don't know, something is up with him. I don't know if he's out of shape. I don't know if it's fatigue. I don't know if he's just not having fun. Maybe he's bored. He's missing D'Antoni too much. Who knows? But I know for sure this ain't Houston Harden. I don't know what it is, but it's not Houston Harden. And that Harden that was an MVP candidate is now just a borderline all-star. And the Nets need more than a borderline all-star. They need MVP candidate James Harden in order to go deep into the playoffs. And to me, he just hasn't been good enough. So, Reem, I'm going to ask you this. Observing Harden this year, you've seen I don't want to say decline or whatever, but do you think Harden has lost a step and is no longer that guy that we know of Harden?
I think it's hard for players to stay next to other alphas and be presented in the same view. We know what we could expect from KD on a daily basis.
Yes, and we're going to get it.
But KD, in our eyes, would be that guy.
Yes.
Right? So I don't know if Harden can adjust to playing next to that guy as a secondary guy and being productive. So now he's not looking like Houston. He's looking more like OKC in that role, where he's a good player next to a great player. And with the rule adjustments or whatever the case is, what he did have an advantage of getting to the free throw line multiple times a game is taken away from him. Now he looks like a good player next to a great player. When they need a great player next to a great player, next to who was supposed to be there, another great player. Kyrie was always seen as a great player next to KD.
Yes.
Not as a co-star next to KD. Right now we're getting a co-star in James Harden where you don't know where to do what and where and who.
That quote was ridiculous to me.
A former MVP.
How do you not know what to do with the ball? You don't know when to play make. You don't know when to score.
It's crazy.
And majority of the times, your playmaking is a result of your scoring. A lot of the times,
you don't know when to say, "Yo, you know what? This is my moment."
Like,
as a former MVP,
that's ridiculous to me. I don't understand. And it
sounds soft.
Yeah, it does. And I don't like how he's looking. Like, he's averaging 27 and 9, but it's a weak ass 27 and 9. Like, the shit is weak. He's just not aggressive to me. It's just as simple as that to me. I'm just looking at him and I'm like, yo, he's not aggressive. He's walking the ball up the floor, which he always does, but walking it up a lot more. And it's just like lazy passes a little bit. And one thing I noticed too, remember in Houston Harden, his buckets were impactful. Those step back threes. Here in Brooklyn, his buckets are not impactful.
Yeah, it's not changing the momentum of the game at any point.
They're just They're just 2 points.
Where KD has so much of an
Gravity.
uphill climb to have to, like, you know what I mean, change the game trajectory with constant buckets. Where it should be, you could take a break.
Yeah.
I'll lead this quarter for you to take the third quarter and then bring us home. You know what I'm saying? I don't get that feel. He's just getting buckets within the flow of the game.
Yeah, like a regular role player.
Exactly.
Like a regular distributing point guard, he's getting his buckets. Just regular average 20 points. And to me, that's not Harden, and that's not what Harden needs to be in order for the Nets to be their best self. So I'm still going to give him some time.
This is a contract year for him, too, so you better figure it out.
That's why I feel like low-key, maybe 1/4 of his brain is out the door, because we know the 76ers are coming after him full throttle at the end of the season. So, and that's his boy over there, Daryl Morey. So maybe he's looking at that as, maybe that's a better situation for me. They won't expect as much of me over there. And because of the whole Kyrie situation, there's different type of scrutiny of eyes over here. So I don't know. He's even getting boos in the Barclays from time to time right now when he's not playing up to par. We know us out here, Brooklyn. You got to play what we need you to play like.
76ers crowd won't play that though. So he could go back and run the more if he wants to.
Yeah, he's trying to. It's Pappy over there. So we'll see. Harden's got to get better, man. So with that being said, both conferences, it's a lot of comp on both sides this season. Yeah. We talked about the Warriors and Suns being the top 2 in the West. Nets and Bulls, top 2 in the East. Bucks are starting to come up now. They've been looking better. The Heat are still there. Hornets have been playing well. Wizards have been at the top of the East all year. So I wanted to ask you, Reem, in your opinion, which conference do you feel like is the better conference right now, quarter of the way into the season?
Surprisingly, early in the season, I'm going to go with the Eastern Conference. Eastern Conference is real jammed up right now. Between the 5th seed, who is Miami, and let's say Toronto, it's only like 3 games difference. At Miami's at 14-10, and Toronto's at 10-13. Any little road trip that might swing the pendulum. And a lot of the teams, what I must say is a lot of the teams we expected to be more at the top of the East, which is Boston, Charlotte, 76ers are 9th place, Atlanta struggling out the gate. The Knicks. You know what I'm saying? Those teams we anticipated to be in a better position, but like you said, Washington is on top. We did say Miami, who is actually fluttering as of lately. Bam is injured. They should
be better.
Bam is injured.
Injuries.
And Cleveland is surprising everybody right now.
Yes, Cleveland too. What, they 13-10 or something like that?
And what got hurt? Their point guard got hurt.
Sexton.
Sexton got hurt, and Garland is stepping up, and you know what I'm saying? They have young energy projected into the Eastern Conference.
Young energy might be the key.
Chicago is second in the East, 1 game behind the Nets. Bro, the East is must-see TV every night. Yes. The Western Conference, I know your team is on the West, but I could say I know I'm gonna expect the Suns and Golden State to go off almost every game. Okay. Down that list, me per se, my opinion, I don't know what to expect from anybody else down that list.
That's a great point you said, because I agree with you there. The West teams are more unpredictable, I would say. Like the way the playoff race is going to shake out, because we thought the Lakers would be up there too with the Warriors and Suns, but they still finding themselves. Blazers are all over the damn place. Mavericks are here and there. Nuggets, they always got injuries. Clippers, they're all over the place.
Ja's hurt.
Ja's hurt. Grizzlies should be in it. The Jazz,
Utah's playing great, but who gives a shit?
Yeah, nobody cares about it, because no one fears Utah at all, especially when it comes to the postseason. So I agree with you in that there's more comp and more balance in the Eastern Conference. But because the 2 top teams reside in the West, and I don't see any East team beating any of those 2 East teams in a playoff series. I mean, West teams in a playoff series. I have to give the nod to the West. The only team I see challenging Warriors, Suns, I'm gonna throw the Lakers in there. Just, you never know, just in case.
They might wake up.
Yeah, they might wake up in a playoff series. To me, the only team from the East that can challenge them, I would say, is the Nets. But honestly, I would say the Bucks also as well, because I got to give them some love, because defensively, they can challenge any team. So I would say only the Bucks and the Nets, but I'm still real shifty on the Nets. Because of my faith in KD is why I'm giving them the nods in a 7-game series. But as far as
The only other team I would agree with, disagree with you, I think the Bulls.
You think they could take them on a 7-game series?
I think the
already?
Bulls, I think the Bulls because of the pace that they play at.
They play at a great pace.
They play at an amazing pace. They have their amazing finishers. And then they do have a big, if they want to slow it down, they could give it to Valanciunas. I'm
going to tell you why I don't think they can. I do think they're up there, but I think they're in that second tier of contenders because I don't like their big men behind Vooch. Because behind Vooch, they have nobody.
Sorry, I said Valanciunas.
Yeah, Vooch. Behind Vooch, they have nobody. I think they're bottom 5 in the league in rebounding. They have no rim protection other than Vooch. And Vooch is not really a rim protector. And if you look at their starting, a big body. Yeah, and if you look at the starting lineup, DeRozan is there 4, Caruso's the 2 now. Levine is basically the 3. So they don't really have a true power forward on that roster also. So I feel like
Jeff Green will look good on that team.
They have a couple. They need to plug somebody in that because they just really just need one little dash of salt.
Tristan Thompson.
I like that. If he could get free,
take the buyout.
I would like for him to take the buyout. That would be nice. But he's still not a rim protector though.
Nah, but he's a high energy off the bench guy.
What if they pulled a trade for Miles Turner? They would have to give up a Kobe White and a pick.
Nah, Kobe White, he's going to turn into their...
I would give up Kobe White for Turner. He's leading the league in blocks. That's the Achilles heel. Rim protection.
Yeah.
Think about DeRozan coming off the bench with Vooch.
I don't know if he would get it. I don't know if his career would go in the right direction coming off the bench, though.
He would have to accept that bench role because he is younger. And then eventually they're going to have to probably choose between Vooch and Miles Turner. But I would take Miles Turner over Vooch anyway. I'll be honest with you. I like Miles Turner. I know that's Dominique's boy.
That's Damo boy.
That's Damo boy. But I think it would pay divididividends for them. But I don't know.
I agree. They do need one piece.
Yeah, they need another.
They need
a big to me. It's a big. They need a big. If they get another big between now and the deadline,
Willie Cauley-Steins.
I like that. He's a strong piece, a rebounding piece. They just need another rebounder. You can't rely on DeRozan and Levine to be your second and third best rebounders. Like, you need somebody else other than that.
Agree.
So quick outro news before we get on out of here now. Quick headlines around the NBA. Speaking of the Bulls, the NBA will make Chicago and Miami forfeit their next available second-round draft pick over some tampering allegations they have with Kyle Lowry and Lonzo Ball, so they're just tapping into that, whatever. The Blazers, they fired their GM. What's up with them, man? Is Dame traded next?
If Dame don't get traded next, I ain't watching another game from them. Like,
I'm gonna have a whole episode coming up on the Blazers and Dame too, but I'm not liking what I'm seeing from Dame.
Dame to lame.
Yeah. He's 23rd in scoring. He's like 30th for free throw attempts. It's like, I don't like the spirit that I'm seeing from Dame right now, but it's not necessarily his fault. Their team is a little average, but it's always been average. But
it's just his team isn't balanced.
Yeah, it's stale.
Yeah,
stale.
If something hasn't worked for 6-7 years in a row, gotta make changes. You made changes at your head coaching position. You fired the GM, but you still got Dame, CJ, and Nurk. That is stale water.
Yeah, that can't be your top 3. Somebody has to go out of that 3 in order for them to make a leap. So we'll see what the Blazers do because they need to make moves fast.
They brought in Tony Snell.
To play minutes.
Oh, God.
Lord. The Bucks, they picked up Boogie. What you feel about that sign? How you feel about that?
I think it was needed. I think Brook Lopez,
he has surgery now. Yeah,
so that's probably a season ending for him.
He's probably going to come back, though. They said by the playoffs or a little bit before. But
what would he be?
Yeah, it's Brook Lopez. Don't they still have Robin Lopez?
No, he's in Orlando, I think.
Oh, really?
I think so.
I don't know.
That'd be good for Chicago to bring him back.
Oh, shit. Yeah, that would actually work for them. Yeah, for real. So I like the Boogie signing over there. They lost some toughness when they got rid of PJ Tucker when PJ Tucker went to Miami. So he brings that little extra toughness that they may need. He's not the leader that PJ Tucker is, but
gives good solid picks.
Yeah, good solid picks.
Some snarls every once in a while.
Yeah, he can be a guy playing next to Giannis when they're trying to get a little bully ball. He can go knock a few heads over. Yeah. So him and Portis is 2 goons in the middle.
Portis break jaws.
He break jaws. So we know that's an intimidating presence in the middle. So I like it actually. It's a low mileage signing and I like it. I feel like they could definitely use him and the Bucks look like they may be on the upswing. They still might need another guard there, but
free Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, for real, man. Give my son some minutes, yo. He would be nice in Milwaukee. You could work. Somebody else needs a point.
Boston need to bring him back.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice. Yeah, man. So we'll see. This gets sticky in the NBA around this time. It's the quarter mark of the season. We're gonna see how this goes, man. I know you're watching your Lakers. I'm saying your Lakers.
Watching Melo.
Watching Melo up at 1 a.m. Me too, man. So it's gonna get sticky in the NBA. So Reem, my brother, as always, I appreciate you joining me, as always, talking hoops, my brother.
Yo, thank you for sharing your platform with me. Your fans are amazing. And stop playing with me on that fantasy, man. Stop sending me stale trades.
Fantasy League is in full effect, man. Full effect. Oh, Rich Trades, any sales coming up so the family can go through?
Nah, we just dropped a new release, though.
Okay.
What we will be doing now, we no longer be releasing seasons. We'll be releasing capsules. So just look out for sexy capsules coming. It might not always be clothes. It might be some candles. It might be some rugs.
Okay.
Different feels with different folks, man.
New flavors. Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice.
Thanks again, bro.
That's what I'm talking. Of course, my brother. At family, this is episode 168, and we out.